What's up everyone, I'm Sergeant First Class Justin Morelli. I'm coming at you live with another episode of Trivia Tuesday, brought to you of course by the U.S. Army New England. And I can't tell you how excited I am to be here. We got quite a few people logged in so far, 22 players. So if you are coming out to join us and test your wits today, now is the time to go ahead and log on. So we're gonna go over a couple things. For those of you that may have missed episodes in the past, I am a 25 Victor, a combat documentation and production specialist, better known as a combat camera operator. And the Army has paid me to travel around the world, jump out of airplanes, rappel out of helicopters, take pictures, and make movies. And I absolutely love what I do. So, I am happy to be back here again, hosting another episode of Trivia Tuesday. It is Cinco de Mayo. And because everyone is stuck at home during social distancing, we figured that we would bring you something to entertain yourselves. So, I don't expect you to know all the questions. Some of them are difficult. However, after some feedback that we received last week, there's definitely some improvements that we've made, and I think that a lot of you are going to do very well tonight. With that being said, those that come out on top are going to go home with some prizes tonight. So I do want to announce that the first place winner of tonight's Trivia Tuesday event will go home with a $20 Amazon gift card. Second place will go home with a $10 Amazon gift card. And third place, you will get a special prize because you didn't quite make it, but you still were competitive. And that just will be your motivation to come back next week and continue to try again. So for those of you that aren't aware, I'm going to switch over screens real quick and go to Kahoot.it. You can enter in the game code 8216810. And we have 24 players right now. Let's see how many more we get before we start the game. But we're doing pretty well so far. Really excited to have you all on board. You know, we've been doing this now. This is our 5th week in. And people that have been sticking with us through the start, from the start of this, I'm sure that you've all learned some stuff. New England has just such a rich history. The United States Army and the United States of America for that matter. And I'm proud to you know, write up these questions, take the time to actually put this event on for you all. So maybe you'll learn something, or maybe you already know it and you can show off and you know, brag about how smart you are after you win. So thanks again everyone for coming out. We're up to 26 players and I would say it's just about time to get started. So yeah, let's see what we can do here. We're up to 27 players. All right, we got one last one that just jumped on. I don't see the reigning champion from last week yet. She has not joined us. But yeah, for all of you that are playing, thanks so much. And we're gonna get started right now. We're up to 29 players. So first question. All right, so we're counting down, 3, 2, 1, and this Bostonian is widely known as the first American killed in the Boston Massacre. Was it A, Samuel Maverick, B, Crispus Attucks, C, Patrick Carr, or D, Samuel Adams? Now, some of you might know this answer right off the bat, as I can see answers are popping in, so that's good. Get those answers in. You obviously get more points the faster that you answer. Some questions will be double weighted, so they'll be worth 2,000 points versus 1. So the faster you get those answers in, the more points you get, and we got 29 answers. So you do have 60 seconds to answer if there is any other stragglers out there. We got 30 answers. All right, and the correct answer is in. So we got 19 with the correct answer, and it is Crispus Attucks. So Crispus Attucks, for those of you that don't know, was a Native American and African American free man that was born and raised in Boston. And he was at the Boston Massacre and was a bit of a rabble-rouser, and unfortunately was killed there during the volley from British soldiers when things got a little out of hand. So widely he is known as the first American casualty of not just the Boston Massacre but the American Revolution, because that really was the catalyst that got it all started. So Crispus Attucks is well known as he was an anti-slavery abolitionist, and you know, he's been an inspiration to many, being that, you know, the American Revolution more or less got its start after that event. So moving on to the next question, to show off the leaderboard here, we got Uh-Oh in the lead. So awesome job, Uh-Oh. They got that answer in real quick, and Jen is right behind. We got Colonel Jackie and Lieutenant Colonel Nuo and Miller. So those are the top 5 in the leaderboard. I think you guys are doing great, off to a good start. So let's go ahead and move on to the next question. So this flag from the American Revolution depicts a coiled timber rattlesnake with the words, "Don't tread on me." Is it A, the Moultrie flag, B, the rebellious stripes, C, the join or die flag, or D, the Gadsden flag? Many of you have seen this flag, I'm sure. It has been used throughout history, but it was created during the American Revolution. We got 9 answers in right now, 11 answers in. You guys are smoking it out there. So yeah, keep those answers coming in. Take a guess if you don't know it. I know it can be a little bit tough, but we got 28 answers in. You guys are definitely crushing it. Really appreciate you all coming out to play today. That's 29 answers in. I think there's one more remaining, so I'll give a couple more seconds. We're going to count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So 30 answers are in. And let's check out that leaderboard. So we got 14 with the correct answer. Great job, guys. Yes, it is the Gadsden flag. For those of you that didn't know, the Gadsden flag was created by Lieutenant Colonel Christopher Gadsden, and you know, he used that symbol of a rattlesnake, which became a very popular symbol from the American Revolution, actually, because Ben Franklin actually put it best. And to basically paraphrase what he said, you know, he said that a rattlesnake is always ready to strike, but it will always warn you first. And he had several other comparisons that he used to compare a rattlesnake to the colonies, the young colonies at that time. And I just thought it was really cool. So Gadsden put that onto a flag. It's been used many other times as well. It's not to be confused with, you know, some of the current groups that use it still. Oftentimes in modern day, people confuse that flag with a derogatory type of term, but it is not that. It is a historic flag, and it's something to be proud of because it's part of our heritage and our American history. So moving on, let's check out that leaderboard. And Uh-Oh falls behind, but we got Miller jumping up to the top and Elfod.78. So Jen drops down to 3rd, Matt Bridges is moving up to 4th, and Hoya Kane's in 5th. So you guys are doing a great job. Awesome. Keep it up. We have many more questions to go, so let's move on with the next question. All right, a predecessor to the Sons of Liberty, this group is credited with establishing the Liberty Tree as a meeting place. Is it A, the rabble rousers, B, the Tea Party, C, the Loyal Nine, or D, the Boston Patriots? So if those of you that watched last week's episode, you are familiar with the Liberty Tree, because that was one of the questions from last week. But there was a particular group that met there, and that was their regular known meeting place. And as we discussed last week, the British eventually cut that down. A loyalist, Tory that was loyal to the crown, cut that down in 1776. But before the Sons of Liberty started, this group used to meet there. So we got 24 answers in, 25 answers in, and we got 20 seconds remaining. So get those last few answers in. I think you guys are doing great. Remember, no cheating, don't use Google. You got plenty of time. Just take a guess at it if you don't know. So we got all 30 answers in. Let's move on to the next question, and let's see how we did here. So, all right, so we got 12 with the correct answer. Good job. And yeah, a couple right behind the Boston Patriots. I mean, yes. So yes, you could argue that the Boston Patriots were the group, but it was actually the Loyal Nine. And the Loyal Nine was, 9 patriots essentially that formed up the group that then became the Sons of Liberty. And the Sons of Liberty spread throughout all 13 of the colonies, and it was really the major movement to move towards independence. So they all got their start in Boston. 9 Bostonians were the loyal 9. So let's check out that leaderboard and see how we're doing. All right, Miller drops down and Jen is on fire. So good job, Jen, 28.50. So she's got a narrow lead there. Just a bit of a margin above Elfod.78, whoever that is. So you guys are doing great. Keep on crushing it. Hoya Kane is right behind. So and Miller, I think you can catch back up. Crystal, keep on trying. So I know that you won a few weeks ago, and I expect you to do better. So let's see what we can do here. And we're going to move on to the next question. So, this war caused some New England politicians to discuss seceding from the Union. Was it A, the Civil War, B, the American Revolution, C, the War of 1812, or D, the Spanish-American War? So, this war, often overlooked in the history books, but was very significant. I don't want to give too much away, so get those answers in so we can talk a bit about what this war actually did for the United States of America and our young country at that time. We got 9 answers in, now 10, and we got about 25 seconds remaining. So you guys are taking your time. That's good. Take your time and make sure you get all the answers in. You know, it's better to get some points than no points. So even if you do take all the time that you need, you'll still get something. So with that said, there's 10 seconds left. So 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So, all right, 14 of you got that answer right. So good job. The War of 1812, also known as the Second War for Independence, essentially. So we went back to war with the British when we were just a young country. And interestingly enough, many New Englanders opposed that war, and there was a reason for that. And it was because we were, you know, a seafaring community, many of us, and we did a lot of trade with the British. And unfortunately, the British continued to squeeze us. They weren't quite recognizing our sovereignty or our independence. And, you know, they were doing all kinds of things like capturing American merchant vessel sailors and enlisting them into the British Navy. You know, they were imposing taxes on us yet again. And there was just so many things that were taking place that it was time for the Americans to stand up and show that our independence actually, you know, was something that was significant and it would be recognized. So that war, a lot happened throughout, you know, Canada, the United States, and particularly the southern states for sure. So those of you that might know, you know, the White House was burned at that time. But during New England, we were fairly free of any engagements. But it was the New England politicians that, you know, the Federalist Party at the time decided, you know, we're not doing well. We're squeezed right now. Our economy is suffering. And they discussed actually seceding from the United States at that time. Fortunately, it didn't happen, and we ended up winning that war. So kudos to our young patriots at that time, because it meant a lot for our independence and our sovereignty as we moved on. So moving on to the next question, we got Elfod takes the lead with 38.92, and Hoya Kane is right behind with 37.15. Jen drops down just a bit, but she's not too far off, and Crystal is moving up. Miller drops down as well. So D-Rock is the highest climber right now, coming up 8 places. So D-Rock, I expect to see you on that leaderboard here real soon. So with that being said, get those answers in as soon as you can, because it's more points for you. I am all about seeing a good competition. So moving on to the next question, and here we go. All right, so this is times 2. Nathaniel Greene established this Rhode Island militia group leading up to the Revolution. Was it A, the Dragoons, B, the Rhode Island Minutemen, C, the Green Mountain Boys, or D, the Kentish Guards? For those of you that don't know, Nathaniel Greene was considered to be Washington's most dependable general. So he was basically his right-hand man, and he was responsible for the campaign within the southern colonies. He ended up retiring from the Continental Army in 1783 and moved down to Savannah, Georgia, and he ended up working on a farm there and having a plantation or a farm of his own until he died. So we got 19 answers in, 20 now, so keep those answers coming in. We're almost up. We got 10 seconds remaining. 23 answers in. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. So that is all for time. So 6 got that right. Like I said, it's the Kentish Guards. That was a precursor to the Continental Army, essentially, and the state of Rhode Island had their own militia. Nathaniel Greene started it, and soon after, many of those militiamen went on to join the Continental Army and fight for independence in the American Revolution. So Nathaniel Greene, incredible general. If you get to look back through any of his engagements and some of the key factors that he played within the revolution, it's pretty profound. It's pretty remarkable, and a lot of respect for those Rhode Islanders. So moving on, let's check out the leaderboard. And we got Elfod still in the lead, takes a big jump there. So good job to Elfod.78. Babs jumps up, Hoya Kane drops down. Lieutenant Colonel Nuo, looks like you are crushing it too, because you just jumped up quite a bit. But significantly, Rain Man is the highest climber with 15 places. So keep those answers coming in as quick as you can get them, and let's move on to the next question. All right, this well-known American song predating the Revolution is the state anthem of Connecticut. So for those of you that don't know, we're now into the New England section. So we did the American history. That was 5 questions from American history, and we'll have 5 New England-based questions. So was it A, Yankee Doodle, B, Dixie, C, the Battle Hymn of the Republic, or D, This Land Is Your Land? And we got 7 answers in. So some of these questions are just fun. You might know them, you might not, but you'll learn a little bit about the New England states with these next 5 questions. We got 20 answers in, and we have 20 seconds remaining. So 10 more answers to go. Keep getting those answers in, and I'm looking forward to seeing who jumps up. It has been quite the game so far, pretty close. A lot of people are shifting and knocking the king of the hill off very quickly. So, all right, 22 with the right answer. So yes, it was Yankee Doodle. Yankee Doodle was an American song. We more or less adopted it, but actually it predates even further back, to potentially an Irish or an English drinking song. Was the tune, and then they wrote some lyrics to it. So pretty cool stuff. Yankee Doodle. I think it's a good way to recognize the American sense of humor, because it's a pretty funny song if you actually look at the words or read along with the lyrics. So with that being said, let's check out the leaderboard, and we have Elfod still in the lead, but Babs jumps up, Hoya Kane's right behind. Looks like you guys are doing really well. Rain Man just jumped up not just 15 places, but now he is in the leaderboard at number 5. And Benavides, thanks for joining. You are the highest climber right now, with up 9 places. So you guys are just crushing it out there. And let's move on to the next question and see how we do. All right, so this New England toy company was known for games such as Monopoly, Clue, and Trivial Pursuit. Was it A, Mattel, B, Fisher-Price, C, Milton Bradley, or D, Parker Brothers? So we got no answers in yet. Some of you might know that I like to do a couple questions like this. I mean, we've done some stuff on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and several other. G.I. Joe, is based out of Rhode Island with Hasbro. So I like to ask some questions about different things. I like to have fun, and for all of you that like board games and games like Trivial Pursuit, that's why we're putting this on. So we have 25 answers in right now with 15 seconds remaining. So just the last few answers is what we're waiting on. And Yeah, let's see how we do here. We got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Looks like not everyone got their answers in on time on that one, but we got 14 correct answers. So yes, it is the Parker brothers. The Parker brothers, we're from Massachusetts. They started that company, and George Parker was the head of the company initially. And it brought us crazy games that we all know, that we might have all grown up playing, and hopefully all the kids out there are still playing, because there's just so much that can be learned playing games like Sorry, Risk, Clue, and Monopoly. So those are all Parker Brothers games, not to be confused with Milton Bradley, who is from Maine and also had a company based in Springfield, Massachusetts. However, they are similar, and because of New England's Industrial Revolution, so much got its start here. So there's always a wealth of history to pull from here in New England. So moving on, let's check out the leaderboard. And we got Elfod still in the lead, pretty secure there. You are looking pretty solid, and Babs is right behind. But Lieutenant Colonel Nuo drops up, jumps up to 3rd place, and Hoya Kane drops down. So Crystal's trailing in 5th place. It looks like Rayman fell off, but Jomo is the highest climber, up 9 places. So Jomo, I am looking to see you in the next leaderboard. So we have a couple more New England-based questions. So let's go ahead and see what else there is to know about New England. Next question is, it's a ×2, so let's get this one. In 1787, Levi Hutchins created this item in Concord, New Hampshire, and is known as the first American to do so. Was it A, denim jeans, B, the alarm clock, C, the drip coffee pot, or D, the modern kitchen stove? Got no answers so far. 2 answers are in now. A couple people are pretty confident. I know this is a tricky one. I don't expect you all to get it. That is why it is a ×2, and you'll earn double the points if you get it correct. So take your time. You might still get something. I don't want to give away any hints, but Concord, New Hampshire has actually brought us a lot of things that we use in everyday American life, and I thought that this was a good question to highlight some of that. So we got 24 answers in with about 10 seconds remaining. So let's see who else is still out there. We got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So that is time with 17 correct answers with the alarm clock. So yes, it was the alarm clock. It was not the first alarm clock. In fact, I mean, the alarm clock goes back to Da Vinci potentially. But as we know it, the first American alarm clock was created in Concord, New Hampshire, and so many other things. I mean, the modern kitchen stove and the drip coffee pot were also invented in Concord, but those were not invented by Levi Hutchins, who was actually a native of Concord. And interestingly enough, about Levi, or Mr. Hutchins, he was born in Massachusetts. He actually served in the Continental Army as well, and he witnessed the burning of Charlestown, Massachusetts. And then he went on to be stationed in Brooklyn, New York, so during the Revolution. So pretty interesting guy, was a soldier and then went on to create the alarm clock. So pretty impressive. And let's see how the leaderboard looks. So we got Elfod still in the lead, it looks like, and Babs not too far behind. Let's see if Babs can catch up. Lieutenant Colonel Nuo is just crushing it right now. So good job, and Hoya Kane and Miller. So Miller's back up into the leaderboard, and MC2 is the highest climber, up 8 places. So good job to everyone, and let's move on to the next question. So this holiday was banned in Massachusetts from 1659 to 1681. Was it A, Christmas, B, Easter, C, Thanksgiving, or D, New Year's? So you have 50 seconds remaining. No answers in just yet. Take your time, think about it a bit. Oh, all right, the answers are coming in now. We're up to 9, 10. All right, they're climbing. So it looks like you guys got this one figured out. Like I said, no cheating. As tempting as it might be to ask Google, we do, integrity is one of the Army values, and we do value that quite a bit. So, not saying that you guys don't know the answers. I'm sure that you do, and you're just taking your time, and that's fine. But just a reminder not to go onto the Googles. All right, so that is it. We got 12 answers in. So yes, the state of Massachusetts banned Christmas for some time. I just thought that was really an interesting fact. Being that Massachusetts got its start on religious values and everything else, the Puritan approach to things, they just didn't want to go over the top with celebrating Christmas. So yeah, interesting fact about Massachusetts. And we're going to move on to the leaderboard. Let's check it out. And we got Elfod still in the lead. Babs is in second, and so they are holding their places. Those top three right now are holding their places pretty well. But we got Wen, who just jumped up, and Ren right behind is the highest climber, so up 3 places. So pretty cool stuff. Let's go ahead and move on to the next question and see how it goes. So this New England state outlawed the sale of alcoholic beverages, sparking the prohibition movement. So was it A, Maine, B, Massachusetts, C, Rhode Island, or D, Vermont? For those of you that can see the screen there, that picture I thought was pretty funny. Prohibition, as you know, was a brief era within American history when they outlawed the sale of alcoholic beverages. So we got 12 answers in with about 30 seconds remaining, so let's get those answers in. It can be a little tricky for those of you that are from New England. Some of you might know that all of the New England states initially played a part, but there was one that had stricter rules than the rest, and really was what sparked the whole movement towards prohibition. So we got 23 answers in with about 5 seconds remaining. So I'm going to count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and your time is up. So we got 7 with the right answer. So yes, the correct answer was Maine. So as I said, Massachusetts actually imposed some laws initially that were preventing, a number of sales of alcoholic beverages within the state, but it was Maine that just locked it down and said no. So good old vacation land. I don't know if they would have had that same motto if they had kept that law in place. And being that they do border New Hampshire, which has the highest number of alcohol sales in the country because of the lack of sales tax, it just would have been interesting. But yes, so moving on, let's check out the leaderboard and see how people are doing. So Elfod looks like is still, clutching that first place, going for that victory. So, but Babs is not too far behind. If Babs can just be a little bit quicker on that trigger finger, I could see Babs potentially catching up. So Lieutenant Colonel Nuo doing great, and Hoya Kane not too far behind. Miller, I've seen you the last couple weeks, and man, oh man, you were just crushing it. So it was a tough round though. So 3 players lost their answer streak of 4. I know a lot of people were getting their answers right there. So yeah, let's see how we do on the next question. During World War II, this form of communication in the U.S. Army was considered undetectable and had a 90% success rate. Was it A, Morse code, B, the war pigeon, C, two-way radios, or D, satellite communications? So for those of you that don't know, I am a proud signaleer or a member of the U.S. Army Signal Corps. And I've had several questions now related and tying back to the Signal Corps. There's so much that came from the U.S. Army Signal Corps. I mean, the Air Force, there's just so many different things. I myself am combat camera, and I'm proud to be a small little faction within the U.S. Army Signal Corps. But there's so many things that come out. I just thought that this was really interesting. So we got 21 answers in so far, and we have 10 seconds remaining. So get those answers in. And I'm going to give it a countdown right now, starting at 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And your time is up. So we got 12 with the right answer. Or I'm sorry, we got 5 with the right answer. So the war pigeon, yes. There were pigeoneers in the U.S. Army. There was about 1,400 U.S. Army soldiers that were responsible for about 54,000 U.S. Army war pigeons. And their job was to fly behind enemy lines and over enemy lines to deliver messages among our friendly allies and U.S. troops. So they completed about 90% of their missions, and all of those messages were delivered. I just thought it was really fascinating. There was, if you're interested in it, go look it up. It is definitely worth researching a bit into. War pigeons. Yeah, just pretty incredible. I mean, we've all heard of messenger and carrier pigeons, but to think that they were that heavily relied upon during World War II to get the message across and get the message out there, it's just remarkable. So let's check out the leaderboard and see how people are doing. So Elfod is keeping a secure lead there, but wow, Lieutenant Colonel Nuo jumps up big time and is only about 600 points behind for the first place title. So watch out, Elfod.78. Someone's coming for you. So Babs drops down, but still not out of the fight. You're absolutely in it in the top 3. And Hoya Kane and Miller stay secured in the top 5. So I know that these questions are tough, but let's move on to the next question and see how we do. All right, General Eisenhower sent a telegram to this corporation requesting their product be distributed to GIs around the world. Was it A, Spam, B, Coca-Cola, C, Jeep, or D, M&M's? Now, all of these products played a role during World War II, but there was one in particular that General Eisenhower, better known as Ike, just knew that his soldiers could not live without. So he sent that telegram in and requested support, in which he got it. So we got 12 answers in with 30 seconds remaining. Get those answers in. Not much time left, about 20 seconds. So I'll give you the countdown here shortly and then tell you a little story about the correct answer. So we have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All right, time is up. All the answers are in, and we got 10 with the correct answer. So yes, the correct answer was Coca-Cola. So General Eisenhower sent a telegram, an urgent and pressing telegram to Atlanta, Georgia, to the Coca-Cola Corporation, and said, listen, I know that morale will improve and my soldiers will feel a lot better regardless of where they are in the world if they can have an ice cold Coke to sip on. And so he had seen the fact that Coca-Cola had bottling and distributing plants throughout the world and figured, why not do that? So Coca-Cola agreed to it, and thus started the Coca-Cola Colonels, which they were control officers essentially that were treated as U.S. Army officers, although they were employed by the Coca-Cola organization, and they wore an Army uniform. They were put throughout the world, and everywhere that U.S. Army soldiers were during the war, they were able to get, well, essentially everywhere, but there was always an ice cold Coke there waiting for them, and it was only 5 cents. So Coca-Cola knew that they might lose money by keeping their prices that low, being that they were having to extend their operations and their footprint so much further. But they said that's okay. That's part of our contribution to the war effort. So 5 cents a Coke. If only life could still be that good. But let's move on to the next question. See what the leaderboards are. All right. So Elfod still in the lead, but Lieutenant Colonel Nuo drops down to 3rd. Babs jumps back up to number 2. So boy, oh boy, you guys are doing great. Hoya Kane jumps up, and she's on fire right now. So I know her from week 1. She was just crushing it and doing great. And Miller keeps steady in that 5th place position. So let's see what we can do. Hoya Kane has the streak of 5 correct answers. So yeah, you guys are all doing awesome. Let's move on to the next question. All right, the U.S. Army commissioned Bausch & Lomb to design sunglasses, resulting in the creation of this popular brand. Was it A, Oakley, B, Ray-Ban, C, American Optical, or D, Maui Jim? So for those of you that don't know, that was General MacArthur there in that photo. I thought it was a pretty appropriate photo to use. Don't want to give too many hints, but take a close look if you can see, and you might get the correct answer. We got 19 answers in with 30 seconds remaining. You guys are doing a great job. 20 answers in. All right, that's it. Everyone's in, and we got 14 correct answers with Ray-Ban. Yes, Ray-Ban was created by the U.S. Army / U.S. Army Air Corps because the need was there for pilots to be able to use a pair of sunglasses that were darker on the top and lighter on the bottom so that they could actually still read their instrument panels. And so Ray-Ban was created. There was a shade of green tinting that they added that blocked out some of those rays that when you're up at altitude flying an aircraft, normal sunglasses didn't block out. And they still remain one of the top, selling brands of sunglasses, in the world. For that matter. But yes, much of that came from the U.S. Army or the U.S. Army Air Corps as well. And I just thought that was an interesting fact. So yeah, moving on, let's see what we got on the leaderboard here. So Elfod is still clutch in the lead, but Babs is right behind with only under 400 points so to catch up. So let's see what we can do. I don't even know what question we're on right now, but I know that we are getting close. So at any point now, I expect to see who the winner is going to be. Lieutenant Colonel Nuo staying there in 3rd place. Great job. And Hoya Kane still on fire. Miller locked in at 5th. Let's see if you can jump up. So great job, guys. And let's move on to the next question. All right, so times 2. So what operation was enacted to confuse the Germans on where U.S. forces would land for D-Day in 1944? Was it A, Operation Fortitude, B, Operation Overlord, C, Operation Normandy, or D, Operation Market Garden? We've had a couple questions so far about D-Day and the U.S. invasion of Europe in order to liberate Europe from the German occupation there. So yes, pretty interesting. In June of 1944, there was quite a lot going on, and the Nazis did not exactly know where we were going to be coming from, and they had their suspicions. But we did everything we could using what we call military deception. And military deception, or MILDEC, is it was what gave us the upper hand and made that invasion successful. So we have 20 answers in right now with about 10 seconds remaining. All right, and we got 7 with the correct answer. So the correct answer was Operation Fortitude. The Nazis thought that we were actually going to invade through Norway. So Operation Fortitude was a mission that was had several components that solidified that belief that the Nazis had about us on where we were going to invade. So we did not want them to know that we were coming in, through Normandy and northern France. So we had everything from inflatable tanks, inflatable airplanes, fake troop formations. I mean, everything. And we were putting out radio signals and purposely letting Nazis, the Germans, intercept certain messaging that we had and through our communication channels to make them think that we were going to be coming in through Norway, and yet in fact we went through France. So as we know, World War II was just an incredible time, and the U.S. Army played such a large role. I mean, that was the largest amphibious operation in the history of the world, and the U.S. Army led that, and that's something that we're proud of. So moving on to the next question, let's see where we're at with the leaderboard. Oh my goodness, Elfod drops down to 3rd place, and Babs takes that leap up into 1st with Hoya Kane right behind in 2nd. So that was the upset I was waiting for. My goodness, that is pretty exciting, I must admit. So I did not see that coming. It's getting real, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I know that we only have about 30 players playing right now, but they are coming for that Amazon gift card. So, and I'm excited to give it. So let's move on to the next question. It will be the last. So 15 out of 15 in 2015, Captain Kristen Greist and First Lieutenant Shay Haver were the first women to successfully do this. Was it A, graduate from West Point, B, work aboard the International Space Station, C, graduate the U.S. Army Ranger School, or D, compete in the world-class athlete program? So for those of you that have watched previous episodes, you know that I had a question last week, supporting some of our Army astronauts, in particular Drew Morgan, Colonel Drew Morgan, who just returned home from the International Space Station after over a year of being up there. So pretty impressive stuff. We got 20 answers in with 20 seconds remaining. And I think most of you probably have it. All right, yes, that is it. So we got 14 correct answers. And the correct answer is the U.S. Army Ranger School. For those of you that don't know, the U.S. Army Ranger School is the Army's premier leadership and development school. And it will try you, it will test you. And I have not been so lucky to attend it, but I more or less audited the course as a documentarian, and I've documented from start to finish the U.S. Army Ranger School with my photographs and videos. And fortunately in 2015 I was able to see the original 22 female soldiers that were trying out to try to get into the school. And to know that those two young West Point graduates and young female Army officers went there and graduated, it's just incredible. So a lot of props to them. Rangers lead the way. So let's go ahead and check out the defining moment, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go to leaderboard here because that wraps it up. So in 3rd place, we got Lieutenant Colonel Nuo with 12,000 points, and we got Hoya Kane in 2nd place, and we have Babs in 1st place. So wow, that was impressive. So for those of you that competed, thanks so much for coming out. For those 3rd place victors, or those top 3 victors, please go ahead and reach out to us. For those of you that don't know, throughout this entire live stream, you can interact with a moderator on our YouTube channel and ask any questions. But now I'm asking you to actually go ahead and send your information in a private chat to our moderator. If you don't feel comfortable sending it through YouTube, you can always send it through Facebook or our Instagram platforms, and we will get back to you. Let us know what your name was and how you were doing throughout the competition. So Babs will be looking for you, Hoya Kane, and we're going to need some of your personal information so we can get those certificates out to you. Lieutenant Colonel Nuo, congratulations as well, finishing in 3rd place, and we will be more than happy to provide you with a special gift as well. But it has no monetary value. It's just bragging rights and just something to be proud of. So thanks so much for everything. Really had a lot of fun doing this. I'm enjoying myself. I love learning and giving people the opportunity to learn and teaching them a bit about where I'm from and an organization that I'm so proud to be a part of. So once again, I am Sergeant First Class Justin Morelli. Please come back and join me again next week. We will be doing this every week for the foreseeable future. Trivia Tuesdays will be every Tuesday night at 5 p.m. So for those of you that do like to work out, there's also Fitness Friday, and we invite you to that. Just go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can get some notifications. So mash that bell button, and it will let you know when we're actually about to go live, so you can come out and join us again. So thank you all for playing today. Everyone did great, and I can't thank you enough for giving me your time tonight. So in the meanwhile, we look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great evening and take care.